Good afternoon, Miss Neville Science students. Here is our recorded lesson on climate factors. The second climate factor we're going to be talking about, how the climate of an area can be affected based on its location, closeness, or how far away it is from water. We want to remember yesterday during Monday's class, we talked about that new word, topography. Remember, topography means the physical features of a landform, like a mountain or a plateau or a hill. We talked about all of those things and how the higher we go in elevation, the colder our temperature becomes, the lower our air pressure goes. So that's extremely important when we're talking about climate. We want to remember that climate is describing the weather conditions, what's happening outside over a long period of time. So today, your I can statement is I can use a model to describe how convection relates to the temperature of land. Let's get started. So we want to remember that the law of convection has a lot to do with weather. I'll go farther and say the law of convection is the reason why weather on our earth happens. Yes, we want to remember that convection is heat rising and cold sinking. Yes, it's the circulation of heat. But why? Why does heat rise and why does cold sink? It's for the very same reason why if I and my nephew Bryson got on a seesaw together, Miss Neville would go down first. The reason why? Miss Neville is heavier than baby Bryson. So that's the same reason why cold sinks. Cold air or cold water is heavier or more dense. It's more dense than warm air or water. The power of ocean water. So we're talking about a piece of land. I don't know, like if we're at the beach, we're talking about land being very close to ocean water. What we'll find is ocean water helps to regulate the temperature of any land near it. That's because water takes so long to heat up and so long to cool down. In our notes, we're writing down here. We should have been writing everything before this. We also want to make sure we're writing here. When we write that word regulate, there's another word that we could use there if we didn't know what regulate means, and that's control. Yes, the temperature of water helps to, if land is near water, it helps to regulate or control the temperature of that land. It helps that land not to become too hot or too cold. But the question we're going to work to answer today to help meet the goals of our I can statement is how? SeaBreeze. Please take some time, pause me, and let's draw this picture. You want to make sure you're using all of the colors Miss Neville uses. And we're going to go through what each of these parts on this diagram, on this model, means. It's important for us to know that SeaBreeze happens during the day. And what we see happening here is low pressure. Yes, we have a low pressure system here. That means heat is going to rise and it's going to go into our atmosphere. As it goes higher up, remember, as altitude increases, temperature goes down. As it goes higher up, it's going to start to cool off, and that heavy cold air is going to start to sink, okay, creating a high pressure system, okay? So now that water, the ocean water, is heating up very, very slowly. Remember on our last slide, we talked about how it takes water a long time to heat up and a long time to cool down. That's not the truth. That's not the same for land. No, with land, land heats up very fast and cools off very fast. We're going to see here that sea breeze is when the cold air over the ocean goes over onto that hot land here to cool it off. Yes, to regulate or control the temperature of that land. Without sea breeze, without this process, land would become superheated and you and I wouldn't be able to live on it comfortably. So, our next question, and this is basically SeaBreeze broken down into steps. Please feel free to pause, Miss Neville, if I go too fast. I'm going to go through each of these points, and if you have any questions, save them for tomorrow as I'll be teaching this same lesson live. So, what happens during SeaBreeze? Well, during the day, the sun heats up that land. Remember, land heats up very quickly and water heats very slowly. So the heat from land rises, that low pressure system, into the atmosphere. The higher that heat goes into the atmosphere, the cooler that heat becomes. And it turns into cold air that falls as a high pressure system over our ocean water. We're then going to see some circulation happen. We're going to talk about that word circulation again soon. We're going to see some circulation begin to happen here, and that cool air over the ocean will go to land. Look at that word, circulation. Circulation. It sounds a lot like circle, doesn't it? Well, that's because circulation happens. Here we go. Circulation happens in a cycle or in the form of, look at this, y'all, a circle. Yeah, this is circulation, okay? So why are land breeze, or why is sea breeze so important? It keeps the land from becoming superheated, and it helps to regulate, the second point, it helps to regulate the temperature of the land. Please take some time to pause this. Make sure you have this written down. We're going on. So land breeze. What do you notice when you see this first picture of land breeze? Well, do you notice that land breeze happens at night? It does. What we see is the exact opposite of what happened during the day, during sea breeze, happening at night during a process called land breeze. We see, you cannot, when you draw this picture, guys, you don't have to have these numbers here. They could confuse you. What I really want you to focus on here, are the how heat rises from the ocean. Remember, our ocean has been heating up all day, and that heat will circulate from the ocean to the now very cold land. Remember, Miss Neville said, land heats up very fast and it cools off just as fast. The water takes a long time to heat up and a long time to cool off. So as water heats up, it's going to save that heat all day. And then at night, it's able to release that heat to the now cooler land. Do you see? This helps the land from becoming super cold at night. Water regulates or controls the temperature of any land near it. So we want to remember, ocean water heats up very slowly. That word should be heats. Okay? Heats slowly all day. And the warm air over the ocean rises to the atmosphere. Yeah. And so then we're going to start seeing, guys, We're going to see a circulation of heat. Yes, we're going to see the law of convection, circulation of winds happening. And we're going to see that cool air fall over that, well, the hot air is going to now go over and it's going to fall into the ocean, and the warm air from the ocean will now heat that super cooled land. So the last question we'll answer today, and feel free to pause me if you need to, is how do land and SeaBreeze illustrate the law of convection? Well, we see the circulation of heat rising and cold sinking over both land and water. So it's extremely important for us to understand that what makes this so important, we don't ever want to forget this, what makes land breeze and SeaBreeze so important is it helps to regulate the temperature. What's the new word for regulate? Control the temperature of any land near water. I hope you're having an amazing day. I can't wait to see everyone tomorrow morning. Bye.